All right, Black Goose TV family, what's good with it? Salute to the people. Salute, salute, salute. As always, man, positivity, blessings your way. I hope everything is going well for you. And if something isn't going well for you, just try to keep your mindset, what I'm saying, as positive as possible. I know it's hard to do that when you got so much other shit going on, but I'm praying and I'm hoping and I'm just, I'm trying to encourage you that whatever you got going on, man, push through it. And, I had to say that because I got a lot of shit going on my way. So, now, get past the motivational speaking part of this video. Not too much when it comes to the boxing community. It usually is like that. Mondays are usually a lot slower, especially when you have such a big weekend of fights that we just had. So a lot of times we're either going to be talking about something that's already taken place or what's going to be coming up in the future, not necessarily any type of breaking news, because obviously we don't want to take away the momentum of last weekend, and we don't want to take away the momentum of the weekend coming up, which we have another big fight happening of Earl Spence and Ugas. With that being said, I did want to talk about this because I know I'm late to the party. Actually, Friday, I know there was a lot of press conferences, one of the bigger ones being Davis and Romero. I actually wanted to do a reaction video to that. So I'm going to be doing that tonight. So you guys can check that out because, there was a lot of good back and forth and all that good stuff. But what I specifically want to focus on for this particular video, nothing over, extraordinary, over the top. It just simply comes down to the rumors that were coming down to Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather, with there being possibly or perhaps a rift between the two. Obviously, you guys saw the video that I dropped, and obviously numerous other YouTube channels, boxing media covered it as well, where Gervonta Davis, maybe about a week, 2 weeks ago, he went on that, Twitter spree, and he was basically claiming, he felt like, Floyd Mayweather and his team must think he's Michael Jackson or something because they put the tickets up, a month before the actual fight, quote unquote. Floyd Mayweather did actually come out and disputed this. He didn't directly dispute it, but when he was asked about it, he did a very good job of speaking on the matter, but not making Gervonta seem like he was coming at him. He just basically said, "Hey, look, when I look at when the tickets were put on place, and then I look at the date and I see how much time there was about 2 months left. Okay, that's what I see. If you guys take it as if there's only a month left, a month and a half, I can't dispute that. But from my perspective, from the numbers, from the dates that I've received, when it comes to, coming across my table, those tickets came out, close to almost 2 months before the actual fight. So, I guess at this point, it's just, who you want to agree with. So I thought that was a great, and that's more or less what he said. That's not word for word, but that was a great response from Floyd on that. But, you saw Gervonta tweet about that. And then he also tweeted about how, they forced him into fighting Rolly, or, was hinting at the fact that they wanted him to fight Rolly as his last fight because this was his last fight on the contract. People saying, hey, you should have, you want to be where you were if it wasn't for Floyd. And, he had a certain comment about that made you think like, oh, is he going to stay with Floyd? So a lot of speculation when it came to what Gervonta Davis plans to do, especially since we just found out that this is his last fight on the contract. And he was the one who told us, especially prior to this fight. It's a little bit unorthodox unless, he's in negotiations with Floyd right now about a new contract, and he's, his PR team or his management team, excuse me. He said, hey, let's get some leverage on this thing. Let's go ahead and put out there and make it seem like you're unhappy, but you're really not, so we can get kind of the fans and the media behind you. And now this puts a little bit more pressure on Floyd and his team to pay him the money he wants, because now he's basically he's alluding to, he's not saying, but he's like, hey, I'm a free agent after this. So now you got all these promoters, licking their lips and, licking their fingers who didn't know beforehand. And then, so it is, in my opinion, from the outside looking in, I think it was really just a negotiation move on Gervonta's part. Like, even when I was talking about it, other than the fact that he may think about kind of doing his own thing on a Canelo Triple G side of the game and doing co-promotions, or, on the Devin Haney side of the thing, where, he's okay with signing with other promotional companies for 2 to 3 fight deals. But I just don't see that being Gervonta's thing since day one, he was such a big Floyd Mayweather guy, and he talked about loyalty, family, all this good stuff. So I think it was just a negotiating move. I think his team was like, hey, if you put this out here, it's going to help you on the table when you're demanding more money. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to be able to present them, hey, well, I got these other offers. And, then obviously you can see how high demand I am, all types of various things that can come into a positive for him and his team to use when it comes to, getting more money when negotiating with Floyd, when it comes to renewing a deal or doing a new deal. But with that being said, and that being, my standpoint off of it, it only makes sense that when it came to him addressing the situation publicly, it was during a press conference that he had with Rolly this past Friday. It was either Friday or Thursday, I can't remember off the tops. But when addressing it, he was very short, He was simple. He was to the point. He didn't say much, but it always comes down to the same thing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times these guys aren't unhappy. They just want to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, they're getting the bang for the buck. They putting their whole entire life out there on the line. So why not? So let's see what he had to say. The lightweight star, who has held first or secondary belts in 3-weight division, holds an uncertain future. Snipes at Mayweather on social media happened either side of the press conference for his May 28th collision with Rolando Romero. But standing next to Mayweather Promotions CEO Leonard Ellerbe, Tank wasn't afraid to air his views. As speculation mounts that he may move on when he becomes a free agent on May 29th, Davis told Fight Hub TV he wants more cash. If the money is right, I feel like I have the best team in the boxing. So whatever decision we come up with, I think it's the smartest decision. Leonard Ellerbe seemed nonplussed by Gervonta Davis, seemingly dismissing his past purses, as Mayweather has always stated the fighter makes the most significant purses at 135. He goes on to say, nonetheless, this is the reality Leonard Ellerbe and Mayweather face is the vulture circle for a piece of Davis. Despite the money statement, Davis believes he can still stay grounded. I just surrounded myself with people that I started with, but I'm not somebody that walks around with my head up my ass. But I like to be chilled. I stay in my own personal space, and I don't bother anyone. This is a tweet from Gervonta. Laugh Out Loud had a press conference today and fight on the same day. No matter how much money you have, you can still be jealous of a motherfucker. Boy. He goes on to say, after asking what it's like being on a big fight night, you can't teach that. You have to experience that. For me, it's, you step up or it's a door dodge situation. I embrace the crowd, but I like a big crowd. If I went to a concert, I would see the crowd and how they embrace the crowd. I wanted that, but some people are not made of it. On whether he sees himself as an inspiration, Davis did. I think so. The kids have seen me grow up. They see me walk blocks in the rain to get to the gym. They see me survive a lot of stuff. They've seen guys before me get killed. So for me to be here today is a blessing. I would thank everyone that's part of my personal team. Having the final word, potentially another push to Ellerbe, Davis concluded it's only up from here. So ultimately, he was honest. He addressed it. He said it comes down to money, which it always comes down to money, guys. When does it never not come down to money? And obviously, if you're making claims as, Floyd Mayweather, Leonard Ellerbe, this is the future pay-per-view star. He's the biggest name at 135. He's making the biggest money out of everybody in the division, which I still don't think that's true. I think Devin Haney makes the most. But we might have one of them old days where I go into a live and I break down the finances of the 135 division. That's something I used to do way back, like a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? I break down the financials because everyone claimed to be making the most money. And I proved it about 2 or 3 years ago that Terrence Crawford was actually making the most money when it came to the welterweight division for a pretty long time. Now, in the last couple of years, that may not be the case, but prior to, I want to say probably about 2019, Terrence was making the most money at welterweight. But anyways, also, by the way, you guys don't know, Keith Thurman was making a lot of money at welterweight, and Danny Garcia was up there too. Danny Garcia made a hell of a lot of money at welterweight compared to some of these other big name stars you guys think about. But anyways, with that being the case, what do you guys think about this particular story? Are you guys surprised by this? Do you guys think there's any chance of Gervonta Davis really leaving Floyd? Like, if somebody offers a bigger bag, do you think he's going to leave and go to a new team just because of a bigger bag? I don't think so. He's been with Floyd so long, it doesn't make sense for him to all of a sudden hop over to somebody new. I know some people would be like, oh, well, you saw what Canelo did. Canelo was with Oscar all his career until like the last 3 years. So it's like, it's very rare you come up with a promoter who built you up the way Floyd did with Gervonta, put all this money into him, time into him. And even when, the fighter becomes who they always said he would become, it's rare they just put him on the back burner and be like, hey, yo, you out of here. A lot of times they're usually pretty loyal. And they try to make it a win-win situation. I know some people look at the Canelo Oscar situation and they're like, there was no win-win there. Canelo straight up, shitted on Oscar De La Hoya to an extent, but also Oscar being a good businessman, or at the very least, whoever is running the business side of Golden Boy Promotions, they utilize that to their advantage too, because as you can see now, they're one of the main entities when it comes to DAZN, and DAZN just, caught up and paid off their debt, and they're looking to add something, as a long-time partnership, not 50-50, but something that could, make their, app really pop. And as of right now, the only promotional company, or the only thing that's really open to them, is Golden Boy Promotions. So it probably looks like they're going to have a long-standing relationship with Golden Boy business-wise. So like I said, it's usually a win-win situation if you want to get in the nitty-gritty. I know a lot of this shit is a little bit too much for y'all. A lot of y'all like to just talk about the boxing and the skills, which I love to do. I love to talk the skill, the boxing, the fundamentally of that. You know what I'm saying? That's the bread and butter of what I do when it comes to this channel. But also, we got to talk about the business sometimes, because obviously it's always coming down to money, and I hate you biased motherfuckers, but I love you at the same time. So I know y'all don't like me because sometimes I'm so goddamn unbiased, and it's like, god damn, like, see it from this perspective. Either way, Love y'all, Black Goose family. Keep supporting the channel. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Drop it in the comments below if you have anything to say. Like the video. As always, look out for all the other content. Notification gang. I'm out of here. Check out the Fluence Lounge from this past Saturday. And I'm telling you guys right now, man, I'm working, man. I'm working like a mug. Like I want to drop some music for y'all. Nothing crazy, but just like one song or something like that. Try and get that back into the game. So if anything, just keep supporting us, keep rocking with us, keep being part of the family, and stay blessed and positive as possible. And I just hope if any of y'all going through anything out there, it gets better. You know what I'm saying? I'm out.